जय गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीर वनचारी जमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी 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 जयो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवचकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड श्री राधा कुंड श्री गिरी गोवर्धन की ब्रज भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories all glories all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की भक्तराज श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की भक्तराज श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की हरे कृष्णा. So very fortunate to be able to get this opportunity to speak on this very, very auspicious occasion of Narsimha Chaturdashi, one of the most unique personalities of Godhead, one of the most difficult to understand personality of Godhead. But at the same time, one of the most loved personality of Godhead amongst devotees, isn't it? You ask any child, they usually know two things. They know Hanuman Chalisa and Narsimha prayers. Because Hanumanji and Narsimha are two favorites of devotees and children. You agree? So I remember when parents, they want to show their children that they are nice devotees, they come and say, Jao, Narsimha prayers, gao. So the children sing Namaste. So usually they know Narsimha prayers more than any other prayers. So yes, this is a very, very special day. It is a extremely hot day in Mumbai. At the same time, we are going to be discussing a very, very warm pastime, a very cooling pastime to the heart. Right, so I think for the next 1 hour plus, let us not really worry about anything, but just try to hear, not because somebody like me is speaking, but it's just an opportunity that Prabhupada has given us in his beautiful temple, that all these devotees are together and we are discussing about this one special personality, two special personalities. We can never discuss one, right? We cannot discuss ever Krishna without discussing Srimati Radharani. We can never discuss Narsimha without discussing Prahlad. We can never discuss Ram without discussing Hanumanji, right? Sometimes it is found, and this is actually a survey done, that Hanumanji is, in one sense in India, more popular than Ram also. You know, I remember hearing a statistic that there are 7 times more gullies named after Hanuman than Ram. You know, we have Ram Gali, Hanuman Gali, Hanuman Tekri, Hanuman, right? So Hanumanji is more famous. This is the wonderful thing about Krishna consciousness and God consciousness, that the devotee, even though he doesn't want it, he becomes more famous. So Hanumanji is more famous. Of course, he never thinks that way, and we all know Ram is equally very special. So today's festival, Prabhus, is I was trying to just understand what is today's festival. Narsimha Dev, Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj. So it's basically a festival which is a sport between a ferocious ego and a ferocious anger. Interesting, right? It is a sport, what we are going to hear today, it's a sport between what? A person having ferocious ego in the form of Hiranyakashipu, epitome of egoism, epitome of I am the all in all. I mean, he didn't just speak it, he was powerful. Most of us speak it, but we know what happens when we are in front of our respective wives. We understand who is the controller, right? But Hiranyakashipu was actually a very, very powerful controller. He was egoistic, and rightfully so. And here was Narsimha Dev, who was epitome of anger. Sometimes, you know, if somebody, of course in India, I was discussing with somebody today morning, that in India it is, we are born with our gods being a monkey, our gods being a boar. It is not unusual to us, right? But somebody from outside, you know, when they try to understand that, you just show them a photo of Narsimha Dev. Okay? Somebody doesn't know anything about God, anything. They say, And then say, who is he? So what will you reply? He's God. Okay. That's okay, fine. So God can be anything. What is he doing? He's killing. Oh my God. So first is God is killing. And say, who is he killing? So he's killing this man who is the father of this boy. And what is this boy doing? The boy is garlanding that God who is killing his father. Now, does it make any common sense? Does it make any sense? How can somebody worship such a God? Isn't it confusing? Yes or no? Yes. A boy garlanding his father's murderer. and the person is ruthlessly killing that particular father of that son. Right? But by the divine understanding that we have received from Srila Prabhupada, received from our acharyas, we understand that this is a most divine, beautiful, enjoyable pastime of the Lord. To the extent that it comes as one full canto in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7th canto of the Paramhansa Samhita, a scripture which is dedicated for Paramhansas. One full canto of the 12 cantos is dedicated to Narsimha Dev and Prahlad. One full canto. Ram is just a small portion of the 9th canto. Not to say he is less important, but how much this is such a beautiful pastime. The teachings of Prahlad, the interactions of Prahlad with his students, the interaction of Hiranyakashipu with Narsimha Dev, and on. It's very special. So, this is the one beautiful prayer that Prahlad, this is the first prayer that Prahlad made to to Narsimha Dev. After he had killed his father and everybody was waiting for his anger. Can you imagine what must be his anger? He was just boiling with anger and people were far away. So we have seen people who are angry on the street, right? I mean, people who are crazy, angry people. As he said, durro. Because this cat can do anything. Right? But when ferociousness is at the epitome, that person can be the most ferociously angry, and that is Narsimha Dev. No one has ever seen such anger in the history of creation. Divine anger, not mundane, base anger. So Prahlad was there and he was not fearful at all. Everybody else was fearful. Prahlad was not fearful. And he is praying this. Let us hear this first prayer. The first words that came out of Prahlad's mouth. Prahlad prayed, in interest of time, I am not reading the Sanskrit. He prayed, how is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of Asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by the streams of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness, then what is it to said of me? I am not at all qualified. So this is actually the hallmark. You understand hallmark? This is actually the core of the personality of Prahlad. This is what makes Prahlad a personality that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to hear about hundreds of times when he was hearing it from Gadadhar Pandit. It is this particular aspect of Prahlad. And what is this aspect? His feeling of being unqualified. Now here is a scenario where this gigantic, huge personality of Narsimha Dev has appeared exclusively for Prahlad, for no one else. Can you imagine how the whole incarnation is dedicated to one person? He comes for only one person. Now we have so many incarnations, right? But Hiranyakaship, Nrsimha Dev, there'll be a lot of tongue twisters for me because there are so many. So please forgive me. So Narsimha Dev came exclusively for Prahlad. And do you know, friends, why did he come? Why did he come to... what was the purpose of Prahlad, of Narsimha Dev coming? Gaurang Priya Prabhu? What is the purpose? For Prahlad's pleasure. Anybody else? Yes. Pole में से, polam pole. Pole में से आए. Hey, why? What is the reason why he came? Come on, you people, come on, answer. To keep the devotees' faith. Didn't he come to protect Prahlad? Yes or no? Bolo na. Why don't you speak? Right? He came to protect Prahlad. Yes, you all agree? Narsimha Dev came to protect Prahlad. Yes? No. He didn't come to protect Prahlad, because if that was the scenario, then Prahlad was tormented and put to death so many times previously also. Narsimha Dev didn't come, right? He was put under elephants. He was thrown from mountains. He was pierced with tridents. His sister, his aunt, sat with him in fire. Narsimha Dev didn't come that time. So if the purpose of Narsimha Dev was to save Prahlad, then he could have come much, much earlier. Why did he come? Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. That, oh Arjuna, you declare it. Because when you say something, Krishna says to Arjuna, when you say something, I will make sure it happens. There is no way I can break the promise of my devotee. That is how much the Lord is in love. He is in blind love of his devotees, Prabhus. This is a very, very important axiomatic truth of Krishna consciousness. If you just understand this, then life is perfect. The extent of love that the Lord has for his devotees. So when Prahlad said to his father, is he in this pillar? His father asked, so of course he is in this pillar. So before... Please understand what happened. The Acharyas explained. Narsimha Dev asked, Hiranyakashipu asked, is he in this pillar? And obviously he had to reply immediately, right? Maybe just a matter of a second. In that microsecond, Narsimha Dev appeared in the pillar. And Prahlad could see Narsimha Dev in the pillar. And Prahlad saw him and said, yes, he's in the pillar. That is the value of the words of a devotee of the Lord. Can you imagine what sort of weight that words have for the Lord and how much it should have for all of us? When the Lord takes it so seriously, how much we should be taking it so seriously as well. So Narsimha Dev exclusively came. It's so sweet, isn't it? That my devotee has said it, I'm there, I have to be there. There's no question of his words going wrong. So he appeared. So here was the incarnation who came exclusively for Prahlad's pleasure, for Prahlad's words to be true. And he is saying, I'm not qualified. Right? He said, I'm not qualified. So this is the hallmark of a Vaishnava. So this quality is so very important, Prabhus, that there's actually a whole scripture written by our Goswami, Sanatan Goswami ji, of the name Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And the whole core of that scripture is, the whole purpose of the whole scripture, it's a very rasic scripture. The whole purpose of the scripture is to show the mood of a real Vaishnava. And what is that mood? The mood is that he thinks or she thinks that I am not qualified. There's somebody else who is qualified. Our whole life is just going to prove how we are so qualified. Don't we spend hours and months and years to prove ourselves that how I'm good, how I'm powerful, how you should listen to me? That's what life is all about for all of us, mundane people from this material world. Everybody is just out to prove and stand out in life. That's the phrase. That I want to stand out amongst everyone because I am the best. Because I am qualified. But Brihad Bhagavatamrit, Narad Muni wants to search who is the greatest devotee. And he goes, it's a beautiful scripture, and our friend, Nanda Dulal Prabhu is going to conduct a whole seminar on this. It's online, or I don't know details, but please, it's a beautiful scripture. But Narad Muni goes, I'll briefly explain, very briefly. He goes and he finds from one of the Brahmanas who was worshipping the Lord, and the Brahmana had such devotion, and there were tears coming from his eyes. And Narad Muni saw that this Brahmana is worshipping the Lord on the banks of Prayag so beautifully. He had made a beautiful altar of the sand and was worshipping the Lord. And Narad Muni said, "You are the greatest devotee." And the Brahman said, No, how? I'm not the greatest devotee. The king in South India, so-and-so king, he is the greatest devotee. Because I'm a Brahman, I'm supposed to do patan, I'm supposed to worship. But the king is not supposed to do this, but so much devotion the king has. Please go to the king. And he goes to the king in South India. And then the king has tears in his eyes. His whole family is worshipping the Lord very elaborately, very opulently. Engaging all his wealth in worshipping the Lord. And Narad Muni said, of course, this person, as rightly pointed out by the Brahmana, this person is indeed a greatest devotee. And he goes to the king, "Oh my dear king, I want to proclaim that you are the greatest devotee." The king says, "What am I? I'm attached to so much of wealth. I've got so much of desires for enjoying separate from the Lord. I cannot be a devotee, the greatest devotee. I'm trying to be a devotee." I said, "You want to really know who is the greatest devotee?" I said, "You should go to the king of the heaven, Indra. He is the greatest devotee. The Lord does so many things for Indra. The Lord is so softly inclined towards Indra. He loves Indra. And he has such devotion. So please go to Indra." So what is happening? Brahmana is saying, "I'm not qualified." The South Indian king is saying, "I'm not qualified." He goes to Indra. And he said, "Narad Muniji, you know what I am." And he was laughing. Right? So sometimes somebody who knows you very well. Right? And he said, "You are a nice person." "Tere ko to pata hai main kaun hai yaar." Right? We say, "Come on, you know what I am. I mean, you have seen me doing things." So Indra said, "Narad Muni, you are saying I'm a great devotee. I mean, you know what I did in Vrindavan. What sort of havoc I created in Vrindavan. How I troubled our Krishna. How can you tell me that I'm a greatest devotee of the Lord? I'm not. Yes, I have opulence. I'm trying to have devotion. But I'm a struggling sadhaka. I'm trying to somehow be a devotee. I'm not the greatest devotee. You really want to know who is the greatest devotee? You should go to Lord Brahma. He is in complete mode of goodness. He is the greatest devotee." So Narad Muni said, "Oh, he is my father." So he went to meet Brahma, and with father-son relations is a little different, right? So sometimes, when Narad Muni said, "Oh, my dear father, oh, my dear Lord Brahma, you are the greatest devotee of the Lord. I can see it because you have so much devotion. You have given the special service to create. You are the first person who, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, you are the original Kavi, you are the original person who creates. You are indeed the greatest devotee of the Lord." As explained in the Brihad Bhagavatamrit, Lord Brahma gives a tapli to Narad Muni. "Hey, you know what I am." Very sweetly explained. "Come on, you know what I am. You know what I did with my daughter. And you know what sort of things I did in Vrindavan. How I was so bewildered and didn't understand what Krishna is, who Krishna is." So of course I'm going a little fast. So then Brahma said, actually the greatest person who is a complete renunciant is Lord Shiva. We should go to Lord Shiva's abode. He is the greatest devotee. He is actually non-different than the Lord. He is actually just a transformation of the Lord. Just like the difference between milk and curd. The milk is nothing but, curd is nothing but a transformation of milk. Lord Shiva is nothing but a transformation of Lord Krishna. We should go there. And Lord Shiva is the brother of Narad Muni, right? So he went and he says, oh my dear brother, oh Lord Shiva, you are indeed the greatest devotee of the Lord. And of course, Lord Shiva said, do you really understand what sort of problems I go through? What sort of anger I have? And what sort of bewilderment I went through when the Lord came as Mohini Murti? I'm not the devotee. I'm not a devotee at all. I'm trying to be a devotee. And besides that, I personally decided to fight against the Lord and side with a demon named Banasur who was my devotee. How can somebody fight against his own Lord? And I fought against Krishna and sided a demon, Banasur. How I can be a devotee? And Parvati came. I said, actually, my husband is not the greatest devotee. You should go to the Vaikuntha planets. The Vaikuntha Vasis are the greatest devotees. What sort of devotion they have? They have Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya, they're the same as the Lord. Unalloyed devotion to the Lord. Anya abhyashita shunyam. Zero attachment to anything else. Seven except the service of the Lord. You should go to the Vaikunthas. In the Vaikuntha, the greatest of the Vaikuntha Vasis, who is the greatest, is Lakshmi Devi. And Shiva intervened. Say, wait. Lakshmi is greatest. But you want to really know who is the greatest in the Vaikuntha Vasis? The greatest of all the devotees in the Vaikuntha Vasis is Prahlad Maharaj. And you must be wondering, how can Prahlad be a Vaikuntha Vasi? Question comes to our mind. Lord Shiva said that the greatest devotee in Vaikuntha is Prahlad. And it's such a sweet thing. It was explained by our acharyas. Sanatana Goswami explains that it is not that Vaikuntha is a place where the Lord is residing. Of course, that is Vaikuntha. But wherever the pure devotee of the Lord is residing, that is Vaikuntha. This temple is Vaikuntha because Prabhupada is residing here. Every single temple of ISKCON is Vaikuntha because a pure devotee is residing there. So please let us expand our understanding of Vaikuntha. We all obviously understand that Lord is present, that is Vaikuntha Pati, that is Vaikuntha. But the place where the pure devotee of the Lord resides, that is Vaikuntha. So even though Prahlad is residing in Sutala Loka, that is Vaikuntha. And Narad Muni said, yes, Prahlad is indeed the greatest devotee of the Lord. And then of course he went to see Prahlad. And of course we can go on and then it would become a Brihad Bhagavatam class, which you don't want. But like that, Lord Shiva directed the greatest devotee is Prahlad. And then of course Prahlad, in the interest of time, he said, you know what, I'm not the greatest devotee. I just prayed to the Lord in a childish way. I was a child, 5 years old. What devotion I had? I just prayed to the Lord. I didn't do any service. Service is important. To do something practical for the Lord is important. The greatest devotee is Hanumanji, he said. He did so much for the Lord. Hanumanji went and from Hanuman told me that I'm not a great devotee. If you go to the Yadavas are great devotees. From the Yadavas they said Uddhav is a great devotee. Uddhav said, I'm not a great devotee. Then of course it ended as Brijbasis. And then of course it ultimately reached that the greatest devotee is Srimati Radha Rani. It's a beautiful story. But the point I was trying to drive, Prabhu, is through this beautiful scripture and to this beautiful personality of Prahlad Maharaj and all the things that all these devotees showed us, is that we should be convinced that we are not qualified to receive the mercy of the Lord. To the extent we know that we do not know, to that extent you will be successful. And to the extent you think you know, to the extent you do not know. Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki. So that is the hallmark of Prahlad Maharaj. So this whole beautiful pastime actually begins when Yudhishthir Maharaj was discussing with Narad Muni, and they were discussing, and Narad Muni was describing about the disappearance of Shishupal, how he was such a blasphemer. We all know Shishupal, right? He loved to blaspheme the Lord. His purpose of life, I mean, can you imagine somebody's purpose of life was to blaspheme the Lord? The only one purpose, the only one aim in life is to blaspheme the Lord. Whenever he got a chance, he would blaspheme. So Shishupal was blaspheming the Lord, and of course Krishna had given him the benediction that you blaspheme anything less than 100, I will forgive you. But if you blaspheme continuously for 100 times and more, I will do the needful. So Narad Muni was explaining that I wish I had the Krishna consciousness like Shishupal. Because he was so damn Krishna conscious. Constantly thinking of Krishna. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was confused, but when he died, when Krishna chopped off his head, how is it that his soul entered the body of Krishna? It is bewildering to me. How can such a blasphemer, his whole life was spent in blasphemy, how can such blasphemer enter the body of the Lord? And to substantiate this, because it's always easy to understand a point through a story. And Narad Muni said, I will tell you one more story. And he tells the story of one more demon who got a special mercy of the Lord. And that was the beginning of the discussion of the pastime of Narsimha Dev and Prahlad Maharaj. And he explained that the four Kumaras were going, and I'm sure many of us know this story, right? We all know, the story is, I know this story, I read it maybe today, right? But in this auspicious time, this is actually the evening time, we are all together, and if we just try to hear this story with attention, I'm sure Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. We are pretty much sure that in this environment of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath temple, we are hearing this beautiful pastime in the association of so many devotees. Devotional service will be established in our heart as an irrevocable fact if we just hear submissive oral reception. That's all that we need to do. So, the four Kumaras were trying to come and meet the Lord in Vaikunta. There were two personalities waiting there, Jaya and Vijay. I said, what are these four Kumaras are eternally, toddlers. I said, what are toddlers doing in Vaikunta? What do they need? They stopped. I said, you can't go. The four Kumaras became very, very upset, very angry. And immediately, the Lord came out from Vaikunta. And Prabhupada makes a very, very important point here. We must learn this. That every disciple is a representative of the spiritual master. And how the disciple behaves is directly connected to the impression of the spiritual master. Whatever good or bad he does, the credit or the blame goes to the spiritual master. So how important, Prabhupada says, how important it is to be a proper representative of our movement, a proper representative of our spiritual master, a proper representative of Krishna. And that is why we all should understand that we all stand a very, very grave responsibility of representing our spiritual masters, representing our movement in a right way so that people understand that yes, these people are genuine. There's a Prabhupada made a statement that you should all know. How will you judge? How will you understand that he's a devotee? Somebody asked Prabhupada, how do you understand who is your devotee? That he will be a thorough gentleman. And obviously that doesn't mean that it's just the way somebody dresses. But in his achar, in his vichar, in his everything, he behaves like a thorough gentleman. Prabhus, this is very, very important because we tend to forget this. And what sort of damage we do to our society, what sort of damage we do to the impression, to the name of our spiritual masters. So Prabhupada makes a very, very important point. I said this is of paramount importance. Prabhupada writes in the purport. This is of paramount importance. Because whatever the Jai Vijay did, Lord Vishnu came out and said, this is, I take the blame. He said it. Whatever has happened with my followers, I take the blame. So anyways, going ahead with the story, they were cursed. And they were cursed. And they said, we want to be 3 times demons because that's faster. So that we can come fast back to our service. And the first birth was Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is one who loved to just extract gold. He was a gold digger. We all know what gold digger means, right? Literally in the literal sense. He would just love to dig gold. And to the extent he dug so much gold that the whole earth was wobbly because it lost balance. And next was Hiranyakashipu. Somebody who loved gold and somebody who loved soft pillows. Hiranyakashipu. What a name, na? Huh? So, Hiranyaksha created terror in the universe. And the Lord cannot tolerate such horrible behavior. And the Lord came as Varahadev. From the nose of Lord Brahma, he came, became huge, and killed Hiranyaksha. Now, one of the very important qualities in spiritual life is the quality of forgiveness. To err is human, to forgive is divine. Right? To err, anybody will do errors, anybody do mistakes, right? So that is human. But this phrase says, but to forgive is divine. How many of us forgive? Or how many times have we been forgiven? But a demoniac nature person means, I will never forgive. I will take revenge. Taking revenge. And mind you, we as devotees also have this tendency of taking revenge. It is not say, well, this is out of syllabus for me. I'm a devotee. I don't take revenge. We all have that. Sachinand Swami was, one of the lectures I was reading, he said that we don't have to, when we're talking about Hiranyakashipu, he's not anywhere. He's right in our heart. And everything we're talking about him is happening right in our heart. Let's not feel that this is something about somebody else. We're talking about ourselves. Hiranyakashipu wanted to take revenge. He said, how dare this Vishnu kill my brother? And sometimes, in the mood of revenge gives rise to extreme amount of determination. See, all the time determination is not born out of goodness. You must all understand that many times determination is born out of, and we have seen so many determined people in the world who do catastrophe things, right? The people who are doing crazy things based on religion, they're determined people. But the determination is coming out of revenge, out of negativity, right? So all the time, determination is not something divine. Utsa, Nishya, Dhairas, right? We talk about determination. Now, devotees, that determination that they're talking about of devotee is a different type of determination. But this determination that Hiranyakashipu had was born out of extreme negativity, born out of extreme desire to destroy things, and in order to destroy, to gain their power, and that passion of power brought about the determination. We don't want the determination. So what sort of tapasya he did, right? I mean, we all know he was standing at the end of that particular passionate tapasya that he did. He was practically not practical. He was actually only bones. His soul was just some other, inside his bones. His body was not. Was eaten up completely. How can somebody do this sort of tapasya, and that was standing on one toe? Can you imagine the determination this person is having? We are all struggling with fasting till evening. Pani. That reminds me, I have to drink water. Because we don't have the determination to achieve the Lord. That's why we don't have that push. Hiranyakashipu was extremely determined. And finally he pleased Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma said, "What do you want?" And he said, "I want to be immortal. I do not want to die." Because Prabhu's the most depressing thing, I was discussing with my friend just an hour back. The most depressing thing in life is what? It's not even death. The most depressing thing in life is old age. Because when you are old, you know you're very soon going to die. And I tell you, my Prabhus, ask people who are old. It is not easy to be old. Hiranyakashipu said, "I do not want to be old. I want to be immortal, young, strong. I want to be." I said, Lord Brahma said, "I also can't. I'm also not immortal." Uses his fertile brains, makes his own arrangements, makes his own plans. See, aisa nahi to aisa. Now what is that? Only Hiranyakashipu does it, or we also do it? We also are what is called, we also have our jugards in life, right? We use the word jugad. We also have our jugards that, some or the other, we try to manage our life and try to make things work for us. If not this way, this way. But no jugad works in Krishna consciousness. It works in material life, but there is no jugad which works in Krishna consciousness. Hiranyakashipu was trying to somehow get this benediction of being immortal. He said, "I will not die in sky or on land. I will not die of any weapons. I will not die, in the day or night. I will not die of any humans or any animals." He asked all sorts of conditions to be fulfilled. And Lord Brahma said, "I will not die of anyone created by you." It's like a broad spectrum benediction, right? Everything is covered in that. Nobody should be created by you. I will not die. Finished. Lord Brahma, huge benediction. Not die with any weapons, astra, shastra. And Lord Brahma said, "I give the benediction." And Hiranyakashipu, usually, how do we know that the determination of achieving something is in the mode of goodness or a mode of passion? It is shown of what happens after that person gets it, how he or she behaves. A person who is determined in a mode of goodness, when he gets something, he is grateful. He becomes humble. He becomes prayerful. He becomes thankful. But a person who is doing out of passion, he becomes completely opposite. I said, "What grateful? I did it. Ishwar aham bhogi. I am the doer. I did everything. You got nice marks in your exams. Krishna is the is the intelligent. What Krishna? Where is Krishna in that? I worked hard for my exams and I got my results. Where's the question of Krishna in that? He becomes proud. He becomes egoistic. Ask yourself, it might not be so gross in our lives, but ask yourself, in minute ways, you might be thinking and you might be behaving in the way of Hiranyakashipu. When you get something, you think, you know what, I did it. I am powerful. And you forget the mercy factor. You forget the grace factor. You forget the dependency factor. 3 things. You forget the grace, you forget the mercy, you forget the dependency factor. And when you are not dependent, you become independent. You are on your own. So these are beautiful, subtle lessons, Prabhus, that we need to learn. Hiranyakashipu, you might not find that grossness in our heart, but that fineness of Hiranyakashipu's negativity is all there, present in all of our heart. And please, today is the day to find that negativity. And today is the day to pray to Nrsingadev to remove that fine negativity in our hearts, which is destroying our spiritual life, which is not allowing us to make progress in Krishna consciousness. It is serious. Today is the day of prayers. Today is the day of being dependent on the Lord's mercy. So he became extremely powerful, extremely arrogant. He just got all the demigods in his subjugation. And it is explained, very interesting. I mean, still very bewildering for me to understand after even so many years that I've heard this story, that he was so powerful that he was actually controlling the material nature. He said, I want 23 degrees here. Everybody, it would become 23 degrees. I want a mango tree here right now. There would be mango tree. Because all the demigods were shivering in fear of Hiranyakashipu. I mean, this man was really, really powerful. Because these demigods are not ordinary people. They are extremely powerful people. And when they are shivering in front of somebody, that person has to be real powerful, right? So Hiranyakashipu was really a powerful man. And it's explained that he was just enjoying his power, enjoying his control. He was intoxicated by this control and power. And then, of course, we didn't mention specifically that particular time when he was doing his tapasya, a very special thing was happening for him. A road for him was getting constructed, where he could really tread the road of spirituality in the form of his wife being pregnant. And she was captured by Indra. And Indra and everybody was bombarding spirituality. And of course, first they wanted to kill the child in the womb. And they said, no, don't do this. Narad Muni said, don't do this. I will take care. And Narad Muni was giving spirituality. And the lady was hearing, Kayadu was hearing it, not with so much attention, but the child within her womb was hearing the power of Garbha Sanskar. How powerful is that science? That even the child in the womb is so attentive and so agile that he or she is ready to receive everything you give the child. When you give them spirituality, the child is receiving it. So please let the advantage of such beautiful sciences available. The science of Garbha Sanskar, which was working here. Prahlad was working towards being a pure devotee of the Lord by the instruction of Narad Muni. So then, of course, Hiranyakashipu was enjoying, Prahlad was growing, Prahlad was 5 years old. He said, now you go to the school. And he said, went to the school of Shukracharya High School. Saint Shukracharya High School. Yeah? And that's the school which was the Ivy League school. You understand Ivy League? The top people study there. The top demons' children study there. And 2 of the top professors were Mr. Shanda and Amarka. First time we did a drama of this story. First time. Me and my brother became Shand and Amarka. And to this day, I love that particular personality. Shand and Amarka. They are sons of Shukracharya. And they say, Prahlad, you are under this very special teachers, Shand and Amarka. Study nicely. Learn him, teach him diplomacy. Teach him how to be a first class, top quality demon. Better than me. And Shand and Amarka said, don't worry. We will do the needful. Thy will be done. And Prahlad was such an obedient child. Was sitting so obediently, and they're teaching all sorts of horrible sciences, political sciences, on how he should be destroying others, how should be backbiting, beg, borrow, steal, some of the be the top person, all sorts of diplomacy. And Prahlad was listening. And Shanda Amarka. So this is an interesting thing, right? Prahlad was obviously knowing that what is being taught is something hopeless. But Prahlad had that intelligence. What to do when? Many times devotees, they are so over enthusiastic. They speak something at the wrong place. To speak the right thing at the wrong place is wrong. Prahlad exactly knew. He didn't say to Chandamark, hey, what are you talking? This is rubbish. What are you teaching? He was hearing very attentively. And they actually were so convinced by Prahlad. They said, this, of all the students, and there were hundreds of them, of all of them, this is my best student. So they said, and obviously, everybody, every minister, everybody who's someone they wants to please, So they said, apne ko, we'll get a good appraisal. You all know appraisals, right? If the boss is happy, you get a good appraisal. So if he say, Prahlad, now go. And they showed Hiranyakashipu. This is exciting, right? We all know this, but still it's always exciting to hear it. So Prahlad goes, just imagine a tiny little 5-year-old child, very beautiful, well-dressed. He was a king's son. And Hiranyakashipu, huge personality, eyes red, because he was always intoxicated with the most powerful beverages and wines. And he said, my dear son, of all subjects that you learn in your school, geography, history, civics, physics, biology, diplomacy, he said, please tell me what is the best of all knowledge. What was the best thing you liked? And here I'm just, Hiranyakashipu was closing his eyes. He must have closed his eyes, I'm sure. I was waiting to hear, I'll hear something amazing coming out from his mouth. Father, I have learned how to be a powerful. He was wanting to hear that, right? So Hiranyakashipu just closed his eyes. He was caressing his child. Bolo, bolo, bolo. And what did he say? Let us all repeat. These verses are so pure. These are the most purest verses where Prahlad spoke, and today we speak. It will please the Lord. Let us all sing together. One after another. Tat sadhu manye asuravarya dehinam sada samudvigna diyam asadgrahat hitvatma patam griyam andakupam vanam gato yadharim ashraveta. Now, it's not that Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu said, translation. It's not that he didn't understand. As he was hearing, he was just imagining, Tat sadhu manne. So obviously something fishy coming out. What is sadhu manne? Asurvarya. Yeah, Asurvarya, I'm Asurya. I'm the best of the demons. So that's nice, but sada samudvigna diyam asadgrat. He said, what is saying? A person who cannot control his mind or senses. I said, what? What is he talking? Controlling the mind and senses? Anyway, maybe I'm not understanding. He has something more deeper to share. A person who is submerged in materialistic thinking, a materialistic householder life, finds himself in a very deep, dark well of suffering where there is no water and no one can hear it. There is only suffering. Therefore, my father, get out of this well. Go to the forest in Vrindavan and worship Supreme Personality of Godhead. Little Prahlad is telling this to Hiranyakashipu. Now, can you imagine what heights of expectations, right? Sometimes we have this extreme height of expectations. Mera bachcha mere liye kuch अच्छा करेगा. मेरा नाम रोशन करेगा. Papa कहते हैं बड़ा नाम. Something like that, right? So Prahlad Maharaj was thinking that, Hiranyakashipu was thinking that this child will make me famous. What high expectations he had, and what did he speak? That sadhu manya asur varya dehina. He said, you should renounce all these things. You are in a deep dark well. Hiranyakashipu was shocked. This is interesting. He was shocked, and Bhagavatam explains he was shocked and he began to laugh very loudly. So sometimes when you are shocked, the only way you can react is you laugh. I mean, he was so shocked. He was not amused, mind you. He was not amused by his thing. His laughter was not out of amusement, but he was so dead shocked. The only way he could really face this shock was he wanted some positivity. Let me laugh at least. He laughed, right? And then he said, and can you imagine what was happening to Chandamarka? Hiranyakashipu looked at him and he said, because this is what we did acting, me and my brother, so I know exactly how I acted. It was one of the best dramas for Radha Gopinath. Adi Kishore Prabhu became Hiranyakashipu. Amazing acting. And our Rupa Manjari Mataji, she was tiny that time. She became Prahlad. It was an amazing drama. It's not recorded, so you can't see it. Don't worry. So anyway, so those who saw it, they remember. So then they said, Hiranyakashipu said, the Vaishnavas are infiltrating in our schools. They're coming inside and they're brainwashing my child. Do the needful. Go, do the needful immediately. They took Prahlad and in front of Hiranyakashipu, they were very nice to Prahlad. And they said, hey Prahlad, where are you learning these things from? But they couldn't be too angry also because he's the king's child. So they had to talk, Prahlad, where are you learning these things from? So what did he say? No, Prahlad, when he was asked, then he would speak. He would never speak out of turn. He had etiquettes, right? So he said, that all you are teaching me, that who is my friend and who is my enemy, this just makes no sense to me. It doesn't sit in my heart because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is like a magnet. I am like a piece of iron and I am immensely attracted to him. Prahlad is saying that I am just so naturally so Prahlad had that natural attraction for the Lord. And mind you, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoy Shravan Adi Suddha Chitte Karore Udoy. The pure love of God is present in everyone's heart. The natural attraction, like the iron filings to the magnet, is there in everyone's heart. Please understand. It is not only in Prahlad's heart. Every living entity has that natural attraction for the Lord. But that filings is rusted. And because of the rust, because of the ignorance of rust, or rather rust of ignorance, we have lost that attraction. So I said, anyway, we will, if you do not listen to us properly, they picked up a stick and they said, we will beat you up now, okay? Better learn properly and learn what we are teaching you. I said, okay. So he sat down and they were teaching again. And then for many, many months, it is explained, he didn't do anything. He just heard. And then they thought that he has learned everything very well. They took him to Hiranyakashipu and they said, everything taken care of. Or we have fixed up everything. Nothing to worry. So Hiranyakashipu also obviously was, very eager now. Okay, now at least, what is he saying? So please tell me, what is the best subject that you have learned? Now let us repeat this on second verse from Prahlad. This is the second beautiful verse. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. My dear Father, these 9 processes of devotional service, of hearing, chanting, remembering the glories of the Supreme Lord, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming His servant, considering the Lord one's friend, and surrendering everything unto Him, and one who follows this 9 processes of devotional service will achieve the greatest perfection of life. Matirna Krishna Parata Satova Mito Bidadyam Grahanam Vritanam Andanta Gopir Vishatam Tamishram Punas Punacharvita Charvananam. Those who have uncontrolled mind and senses, they cannot understand the absolute truth. Due to their materialistic conditioning, they continue to chew that which is already being chewed in the form of material enjoyment, such as objects of senses and prestige, mental gratification, profit, adoration, and distinction, and sensual and gross sensual satisfaction that come through the eyes, ears, nose, and flesh. So he explained to his father that please engage yourself in the 9 processes of devotional service, and don't engage yourself in with chewing what is already being chewed. So then, of course, Hiranyakashipu was extremely wild. He said that this Prahlad is like the handle, and the axe of the handle is Vishnu, and he's using my son to kill the sandalwood of forest that I've created in the form of my control of dominion over things. Please do everything that is possible to kill this Prahlad. Kill him now. He's the killer of, he's becoming a devotee of the killer of my brother. Kill him right now. And of course, we all know what happened. Prahlad was taken to elephants, was pierced with tridents, put in pits of snakes with extremely venomous serpents. And still he would not die. And then Chandamarka said, Hiranyakashipu, don't worry, he's just a child. We will take care of him. You are unnecessarily just getting too excited. We will take complete care. So Hiranyakashipu had some slight hope that if these people are saying something, they will do something. So, okay, do the needful. And then they took him to the Gurukul, and they said, you are just doing what we are telling you to do. But Prahlad was in the mood of a preacher now. He said, enough is enough. So when there was a recess time, he's just got all his friends. I said, come. And he started preaching to his classmates. I said, you all, Kumara Acha Pragya Dharman Bhagavatam iya, that you should become a devotee at the tender age of 5. And the children were wondering, Prahlad, how do you know all these things? You are like us only, right? You are born in a demon's family. How do you know all these things? Kahan se aapko ye knowledge aaya? What is the source? And he explained his source, that I learned it from my guru, Narad Muni, when I was in the womb of my mother. And in matter of one session, all of these children became Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. They all became devotees. They started chanting Hare Krishna. There was Kirtan. And we have this famous painting, right? Prahlad is dancing and they all were dancing. This is happening in Saint Sukracharya High School. Right in the school, in the main hall of the school, this is Kirtan is happening. And this was Chandan Amarka just came after they had gone out, and they said, Prahlad, this boy is, they used the word, is a gone kiss. He is useless. We cannot do anything. And they got Prahlad and they threw at the feet of Hiranyakashipu. I said, we are sorry. We cannot do anything. We are helpless. You do the needful. And of course, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. I said, Prahlad, how can you defy me? Everyone is shivering looking at me. How dare you not how dare you not follow my authority? Where are you getting your powers from? To be such arrogance, this arrogance, where is it coming from? Where are you getting your power from? And Prahlad was honest. What did he say? He said, I am getting this power from the same place as you are getting the power, from the same source. We all are getting the power from Lord. This is from the school, same school. Huh? You are getting the power from Lord Vishnu. And please, if we understand the ferocity of Hiranyakashipu, can we understand what sort of anger he must be having at that point of time? That his own son, he is not able to kill him. He is not able to control him. He is not able to do anything to him. He is not dying. He can kill anybody anytime, but this child is not dying. How helpless. Sometimes the Lord makes us helpless. We can do many big things, but the most easiest things the Lord doesn't allow us to do. I remember many years back, there was a rich man who came to us and he was talking and said, I have everything, but my son is a handicap. I can't do anything. We just become so humble. You can't do anything about it, right? So Hiranyakashipu was wondering that how I cannot control this person. He said, now I am going to kill you. And let me see the Lord coming to protect you. And Hiranyakashipu coming to kill you means, you are 100% dead. There's no question. And then he said that, where is your Lord? And he said, is he in this pillar? Because he just saw what is around. You say your Lord is everywhere? You just said your Lord is everywhere, right? Here, everywhere. So just as a matter of questioning him, he just said, he's in this pillar. Obviously, he said that. How can he be in the pillar? I've constructed this pillar. And I was involved in making this pillar. This whole palace was made by me. I funded this pillar. And I know there's nothing else but concrete here in this pillar. How can there be anything in this pillar? I said, is he in this pillar? And of course, as we discussed earlier, Prahlad said, of course, he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Of course, he's in this pillar. And then Hiranyakashipu, out of great anger, he just banged the pillar, boom, with his fist, extremely powerful fist. And then immediately, the most deafening sound the world has ever heard in the history. Never, it will ever happen again. The most deafening sound was heard by everybody. It was a shrilling sound of Narsimha Dev. The Lord was super angry. He came jumping out and he was huge. Hiranyakashipu was looking like a fly in front of him. And this happened sometime in the afternoon, as explained by our acharyas. He banged the pillar, and Narsimha Dev, there's no way we can really even imitate this sound. It was deafening. It was shrilling. The whole creation was shaking by the sound. We all make sounds when we are angry, right? Ah! Whatever, right? We have seen in Mahabharata people doing a wrestling match, all these things, right? But that's in a mode of passion. This thrilling sound was in Suddha Sattva. When the Lord makes a thrilling sound, when the Lord plays this flute, the most beautiful flute Krishna can play, and we all get attracted to that flute. But the same Lord, based on time, place, and circumstance, will give up his flute and make a thrilling sound. Why? Just to please and protect his devotees. The Lord is ready to do anything and everything to please his devotees. Prabhu, please understand this wonderful science. When the Lord wants to attract the gopis, he plays this flute, which is very, very attractive to the gopis. But the Lord will not shout to attract the gopis, right? But what is required to protect Prahlad at that time? What is required? The Lord will make a thrilling sound and give confidence that I am here. Prahlad, you need not worry now. Nobody can touch you. I'm here. Nobody can touch you now. And then Hiranyakashipu was very angry. He said, what is this? And he was jumping and fighting. And as the story explains that, like the cat and the mouse, they're fighting, and the cat sometimes releases the mouse. And Hiranyakashipu was thinking at that time, yeah, I got it. I was free now. Now I will kill this particular creature. He called him a creature. Now I'll kill him. And again he attacked. And again the Lord left him. Now I'll kill him. The ego is such. As I said, this fight was between what was it? Ferocious ego versus ferocious anger. Now that ego was so can you imagine that he could still then get convinced that I am going to be dead. That ego was, I am still going to kill him. And Bhagavatam explains this again and again, that Hiranyakashipu was thinking, now I am going to kill this person. Now I am going to kill this person. Hope against hope out of egoism. But then the time came. The perfect time came. And again, the Lord does the same thing. Is that Lord said that it was difficult for the Lord to fulfill all the benedictions of Brahma. To the extent the Lord said to Lord Brahma, next time don't do this, huh? It was not easy for me to do, all sorts of time. I had to really plan things out. It was not easy. So he told Brahma, please think next time giving such benedictions to your devotees. The Lord was waiting for the opportune time to come. And then he went to the what is the right word? Chaukat. What is the English word for it? Doorstep. Okay. So he went to the right place with it, neither in or out. And he caught hold of Hiranyakashipu and put it on his thighs. And then at the twilight, with his beautiful nails, he ripped apart the body of Hiranyakashipu. He removed his heart. First he removed his heart. It was nice, heart transplant, complete, boom. First removed his heart. I remember when we were making the hospital, Bhaktivedanta hospital, I was helping Vaishnav Seva Prabhu. He was making the hospital. So we made the operation theatre, and in Bhakti hospital we have photographs everywhere, correct? So we're deciding which photos should go where. So we put Narsimha Dev in the operation theatre. They're the original surgeon. The original heart transplant was done here. He removed the heart and removed his intestines. Now the Acharyas explained, it's such a sweet thing. He removed the intestine and wore it itself, right? In the heart, he didn't do this through the heart. This dirty heart. What? I don't need this. Out. But why did the Lord, even the intestines were dirty. What is intestine is dirty thing, right? Doctors, you all know what happens to intestines. But why did the Lord wear his intestines? There's always a question, right? Heart picked diya. Why did he wear his intestines? He wore it like this. He himself took the intestine and wear it. He said that the Lord is so kind. Oh my God, unbelievably kind. The Lord said, Prahlad is such a dear devotee of mine. But his father should do some service. At least some service he should do before he dies. Otherwise, his life is a miserable wreck. He's a useless. His life was completely useless. So before he dies, let him offer his intestines to me at least. So he took his intestines and wore it. And it's also explained by Bhakti Charu Swami. I just heard a class. It was through these intestines that the sperm of Prahlad passed. And he found that intestine so worshipable, the Lord, that is such a special, I didn't know this explanation. Bhakti Charu Swami made it a very divine. That he found it so special that he wore the intestine, that this is so special. So the Lord wore this intestine and still was very, very angry. And that's where, all the demigods are trying to push the Lord. Oh my God, we are very late. Sorry. They were trying to push that you go. And Lakshmi Devi said, I don't know this person. Who is this person? He's not my husband, no way. He's not my person. He's not my husband. Then finally Prahlad goes and he offers his prayers to the Lord, and the Lord is caressing Prahlad. So this Narsimha Chaturdashi and this festival of Narsimha Dev is very, 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 very special to the extent that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to every single Narsimha temple in South India. And it's explained by our Acharya Rupa Goswami especially that of all the incarnations, 3 are most prominent incarnations for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. 3 incarnations: Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Ram, and Lord Narsimha Dev. These 3 are the most prominent incarnations, and to that extent, Srila Prabhupada was so keen that how much we should take shelter of how much we take shelter of Narsimha Dev. That he told us to sing Narsimha prayers every single day. And there's a beautiful story by which I would like to end today, that Srila Prabhupada wanted to all of us to get an actual understanding what was this whole fight. It's such a nice fight which has happened. How did it look? So because Prabhupada wanted to make paintings. Paintings are nothing but windows to the spiritual world. Prabhupada wanted Jadurani Mataji to paint. And he said, you should paint Narsimha Dev and killing Hiranyakashipu, with the famous painting that we all know. So Jadurani said, but how do I paint? I need to have some way. So Prabhupada said, he became Hiranyakashipu. He became Narsimha Dev. And he made his fingers like this. And he waited like this. Says, now you see, this is the way you should be. And Prabhupada made his eyes very big. And Jadurani was just, of course, there was no cameras or no. So she was just trying to make a rough sketch of it. And the Prabhupada again came back. I said, Jadurani, I said, but I have not completely made the whole sketch. Prabhupada again stood like this, very angry. And then Prabhupada came back to his normal self. And then she made some painting, and she was thinking that this is the Lord killing. So she made some little blood here and there, and she showed to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, this is the painting. Prabhupada said, where is the blood? I said, Prabhupada said there should be blood everywhere. Because Hiranyakashipu was so angry, he spluttered blood everywhere. So make blood everywhere. It should be looking very ferocious. I said, she made a lot of blood everywhere. And then Prabhupada said, but it doesn't look like a palace. Narsimha Dev was in the palace of Hiranyakashipu. So it should look like a palace. Make like domes and everything and make the carpets and everything. So she was wondering, how do I make a carpet? So she knew one painting of Ram, Lakshman, Sita and Hanuman in Prabhupada's room, which had a beautiful carpet painting. So she wanted to see how painting should be done off a carpet. She went to Prabhupada's room, and she was trying to see the painting. It was quite high, and she didn't want to step on Prabhupada's mat. And Prabhupada said, what are you doing? I said, Prabhupada, I'm trying to see that painting, to see that carpet, how it should be, so that I can paint it. And I don't want to stamp on your mat. Prabhupada said, for the service of Narsingadev, you can even step on my head. Srila Prabhupada ki! He said, but this painting should exactly show how this whole pastime happened. And it is explained that Jadurani Maji writes in this thing that this painting took the maximum time of all the painting that she ever did. Because Prabhupada was so keen that every single aspect is captured in this beautiful painting. So yes, Narsingadev is very, very special. And as we will just like to finish in 2 minutes, it's a very auspicious day today to also pray. And what is the hallmark of Prahlad Maharaj? What is it that we need to pray today? 3 things. 2 things rather. Very 2 simple things. The simplicity and the humility of Sri Prahlad, which attracted the heart of Narsingadev. This is exactly 2 lines which Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur said in his lecture when he was ending. And there are 2 things that devotees should learn from the personality of Prahlad. The simplicity, he said, devotional service means simplicity. No duplicity. Straightforwardness. Simplicity. And second is humility of Prahlad. And that's what we learn, we take home message today is that only when we have that quality, as we first read in the prayer, that I am most unqualified, O Lord, I have no qualification to pray to you. That feeling of humility and the feeling of simplicity of Prahlad is the hallmark. And we should also understand that just like Narsingadev came to fulfill the words of Prahlad come true, similarly, Narsingadev of Lord Krishna will do anything and everything to make the words of Srila Prabhupada come true. Because he is a pure devotee of the Lord. And Prabhupada has said very clearly for all of us that if you simply chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, follow the 4 regular principles, and be a servant of the servant in my mission, and be a sold out slave of the spiritual master, you will definitely go back to Godhead. When Prabhupada said it, and if we do it, do we have any doubt that Krishna will not make it happen? Yes, what do you feel? There's no doubt. So let us all understand that how much the Lord loves his devotees and how much the devotees loves the Lord. Of course, there's so many other things that we can talk, but the last thing we should offer our prayers to one of the most prominent devotees of Narsingadev in our movement, in the form of Pankajangri Prabhu. It's a day today we seek his blessings because he, by far, is one of the most prominent devotees of Narsingadev in our ISKCON society. And we seek his blessings today as well. So on this very auspicious day, let us take advantage of the wonderful teachings of Prahlad, whatever we could cover in this short span of 1 hour, 1.5 hours we spoke, but there's so much to speak about Narsingadev. But let us all really take his blessings and let us always pray for the protection, physical, mental, and spiritual protection of our near and dear devotees, of every single devotee in ISKCON, and in one sense, protection of everyone in this world. And that is what Lord Narsingadev is all for, to protect everyone and give shelter to everyone. His whole purpose was to protect everyone that comes to his shelter. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. नरसिंह देव भगवान की, भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की।